another big class as you guys put a seventh group in. Some of the highlights in the class. B-Hop, Bernard Hopkins, Juan, Manuel, Marquez, Winky Wright. I mean, you could talk about some of the other guys, but this is a freaking great group.
Yeah, I think it's a really glamorous class. I'm really excited about it. Bernard Hopkins, of course, a magnificent career. I mean, one for the ages and the aged, since he won
right.
the champion at the age of 50. Juan Manuel Marquez, a personal favorite of mine. I had the opportunity to broadcast many of his fights as he was coming up when I was doing Forum Boxing TV, as I did Chiquita Gonzalez, another of our inductees. But a lot of great names, Wayne McCullough, who lived here in Vegas for many, many years, being inducted. Winky Wright, who fought so many of the main events, championship fights right here in Las Vegas. And Vinny Paz, who, of course, has an amazing story, having broken his neck in an auto accident. They made a movie about it, Bleed for This. It was on Showtime, and I think you can still see it on demand, et cetera. Vinny's got a great story. And as does Hasim Rahman, another local favorite. And we're even inducting Floyd Mayweather Sr., the great trainer who's trained his son, Money Mayweather, and, of course, Oscar De La Hoya as well. So it's a great, great class. We're really excited. And Saturday night, and it's, if you've been to our events, they're big glamour events, the kind of which boxing, considered by so many of the basement of sports, hadn't really enjoyed that kind of glamour spectacle like the Grammys or big awards kind of dinners, and we're just happy that we have one.
It's at the Red Rock, right?
Yeah, we're moved over to the Red Rock. We're right across the street from the ballpark, and giving that a shot. We've actually moved around Vegas. We've had 3 homes before. We were in Monte Carlo one year, Tropicana one year, Caesar's Palace for 4 years. Now trying the other side of town at Red Rock, and enjoying the experience there. We've got a great room to have the event, and getting a lot of cooperation from them. It's going to be really exciting.
NVBHOF.com is the website. Can people still get tickets to the Saturday shindig?
Yeah, yes, they can. And we also, as you mentioned, have the Fan Fest on Friday. But ticket sales actually end at midnight tonight. So today's the day to do it if you want to be part of it. And we also want to mention, if you don't mind, that we do have our museum open, the interactive exhibit. That's finally got a physical home for the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. It's over in the Boulevard Mall. And, in fact, a lot of the inductees are going to come over and check it out. We've only been open there for 3 weeks. So we're really excited. There is a Hall of Fame now with a museum. We cover the history of boxing, a lot of fabulous artifacts and displays, and it's interactive where people can jump in the ring, they can put on the gloves, they can hit the bags, that kind of thing. It's over at Boulevard Mall inside the Heads Up attraction. And come on out and see the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. It's here.
Get your tickets, as Rich said. Done tonight. Red Rock.
That's right.
Yep. Keep going.
Yeah, that's it. Midnight tonight. So NVBHOF.com. You can still get tickets for that and for the Fan Fest as well on Friday.
Who's your favorite fighter on the list of inductees?
On the list, probably from a personal standpoint, I'd have to go with Juan Manuel Marquez, because I practically helped bring him up the ranks. And, he had the amazing series of fights with Manny Pacquiao. Just the 4-fight trilogy, you go one beyond a trilogy, which I don't know if there's a word for that, but the 4-fight series, and I think it was just a magnificent fighter. So and a great guy, and he's going to be here. All the inductees are confirmed and will be here, by the way. But if I had to pick out one from that group that you were talking about, our inductees this year, Juan Manuel would be the guy. He brought us so many amazing nights right here in Vegas.
And really a throwback when you think about it, because when are we going to get a chance to see high-level fighters fight 4 times?
Yeah, I mean, it's rare enough as it's happened in boxing. It really has hardly ever happened. I mean, the trilogies are rare enough, but a 4-fight series or more. You had Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta fought 6 times. I think that's got to be the record. But Azuma Nelson and Jesse James Lehoff fought 4 times, I think, and. Really, a 4-time series, and especially at that level. I mean, that is the elite level, Marquez and Pacquiao. And, of course, the very dramatic finish of the 4-fight series when Marquez really knocked the Pacquiao into tomorrow with that right hand when Pacquiao walked into that right. And so that was a great series, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of memories that are going to be remembered this weekend and swapped this weekend. And we put all the rivals, guys, right under one roof. We put them all under one roof, and it's always a pleasure to see these guys able, at least for one night, to forget all the rivalries and heated, bitter, problems that they have with each other. We got all the promoters in there, all the different fighter rivalries. It's a great, great night.
A miracle worker, all the promoters in one room.
Hey, give me the Nobel Peace Prize.
Correct me on this one, because I don't have the entire list of past inductees memorized. Did you guys put in Pernell Whitaker?
Yes, Pernell was inducted 3 years ago, and he'd been there, actually, and he was there for the subsequent two induction as well. But he was inducted 3 years ago, and it was really great because we were paying tribute to Muhammad Ali that night. And there were a lot of people on that dais talking about the who's the greatest, et cetera, like that. And Pernell Whitaker got up there and he said, I'm not gonna talk about who's the greatest. I'm not the greatest. He goes, we're honoring Muhammad Ali tonight. He goes, but I'll settle for number two. And and Pernell really enjoyed himself. He had a great time. So yes, in fact, we did put him in.
The voice of Rich Marotta. You got the Boxing Hall of Fame, Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame ceremony on Saturday, meet and greet at Red Rock on Friday, which will be really cool. And if you're a big boxing fan, there's only so many events like this where you get all these boxers together and all these legends of boxing in one setting. I want your take on a couple of things that are going on with boxing right now. Where do you think the heavyweight division is right now? Are we going to get all the fights we want to see? Because essentially now we've got like a Final Four. We could see a bunch of them fight each other. We could have great fights for the next couple of years. But again, you mentioned promoters. Is there going to be a promotional issue here in terms of getting these guys to fight each other?
Well, there is, unfortunately, and it's boxing could have a real good era of heavyweight fights right now. That Deontay Wilder fight against Tyson Fury was fantastic. It had electricity. It had kind of a surprising outcome and very dramatic, of course. Andy Ruiz upsetting Anthony Joshua. That was a thrilling night, and but otherwise, right now, we're talking about if we don't make the Ruiz-Joshua rematch, that would be good. I would love to see it happen again. But Wilder and Fury, I don't know why they're not fighting. I mean, Wilder fought Dominic Breazeale. It was a garbage fight. It was a run-round fight from the time they made it. I said it even when they made it. This is a one-round fight. And the guys that Tyson Fury is fighting, frankly, I don't even know who the hell they are. I mean, this last guy, I didn't know who he was, right. and they're talking some names now where I don't know who they are. And I'm sitting there, I've been a boxing broadcaster for many years, and they're getting guys into heavyweight fights, ostensibly a heavyweight, even if it's a lineal heavyweight fight, a championship fight, that are fighting for a title. And half the people out there, 3/4 of the people don't know who they are. That's ridiculous. The fight is there. It's Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Make it. Make the fight. I don't understand why the fighters don't want.
It's outrageous.
Why they don't just go and say, "Hey, make this fight."
Yeah, we go into a big fight weekend. Some of these heavyweight fights, and just because Ruiz pulled off the big upset against Joshua, I almost feel like promoters figure, hey, you know what? These guys are big names. We'll have them fight guys who were minus 3,000, minus 4,000, minus 5,000 dogs because it happened once. People will buy into the upset, believe in the lottery ticket, but that's only going to last for so long. And now the latest thing with Ruiz and Joshua, now we're talking about issues with the site. I mean, I just saw Ruiz challenge Joshua to fight in Mexico. I mean, just get the fight done, get it done in the UK, give Joshua a chance to either get his revenge or take Ruiz to the next level. What's the complication?
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, you make the fight, and all this posturing and and all the public posturing, and nobody's buying it. So yeah, just make the fight. I mean, there are good fights to be made. And look, I totally agree with you with that minus 3,000 and minus 4,000. How great was Pacquiao and Thurman? And you know why it was great? Because we didn't know what was going to happen going into that ring. Yep. And because, you had Thurman the favorite, 2 weeks before the fight, and Pacquiao a slight favorite, not the night of the fight. We did not know. And then when you had that fight with Ramirez and Mo Hooker a couple of weeks ago in Dallas, Texas, terrific fight. And again, even odds. That's what we want to see. We want to see even up fights. We don't want showcases. I don't want to see a showcase for a champion. Who gives a crap about seeing that? I don't think most fans do. None of these guys are Ali. So you could get away with it when you had Ali being your showcase fighter.
Sure.
But otherwise, make the best fight. That Pacquiao Thurman night, I was here. I was at the MGM Grand. It was electric in there, and I'm telling you, my heart was pounding when Pacquiao floored him in that first round. It was a fantastic moment, and it took me back to a number of great fights that have taken place here in Vegas. And in Nevada that were even fights going in. You didn't know, and that shocking moment, for example. And then the subsequent 11 rounds, which turned out to be a really good, very intriguing fight. So, when you have those nights, they're kind of unforgettable. I hope we get more of them.
That's the voice of Rich Marotta. We are going to get one of those fights, I think. There's certainly something at stake in the fight. So about 6 weeks from now, Errol Spence and Sean Porter. Is Spence going to win that? And then I'll ask. Spence would fight Pac-Man. Will Pac-Man want to take on Spence?
Well, I don't know if he'll want to take him on, but it's a pretty daunting task to fight Errol Spence, and it's a daunting task for Sean. Now, Sean's a good fighter, and I suspect he's going to make Spence fight, and I suspect he'll give Spence the best fight that he's had. Whether he can beat him is doubtful, because Spence right now I think is probably a top 3 pound for pound guy. But Sean's a good fighter. I think he's going to throw caution to the wind and just come out with all guns blazing. And sometimes when that happens, you get a little bit more than you expect. I mean, I expect it to be a pretty good fight anyway, because I think Sean's going to make him fight. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I think Sean will give a good account of himself. But man, that's Spence. He's a tough hombre.
Rich, tell us one more time about especially the Fan Fest. Can anyone go out there on Friday to the Red Rock?
Yeah, that's right. And it's 11 o'clock till 4 o'clock. And all the inductees will be out there and signing. That's some pretty big names. And all the local champs will be out there. We'll have 30 to 40 world champions, past and present, that'll be in there signing, taking photos. And then if you don't mind, I'll mention also on Saturday, as part of the induction weekend, we have an amateur card that is sponsored by the WBC. So there'll be amateur boxing, and that's free of charge. So you can come out and watch the kids. And a lot of those champions and inductees, they come out, and present the kids with medals and stuff. And it's another chance to interact with everybody in the boxing community. And then, of course, Saturday night is the big gala.
Rich, good spot. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks very much. I appreciate you having me on.